Finding life rather dull, dreaming again of exotic places, wishing you were somewhere else? We offer you
The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's childhood pal.
Welcome to Spreading the Word, everybody. I am Biff Sweetwater. My guest today is the writer-director of one of my favorite movies of last year, Slow West.
Hello and thanks.
John Maclean. Is that right? Is that
yes,
how you say
Maclean, yes.
Because that's one of the most badass names, right? That's Bruce Willis from Die Hard.
It's spelled differently than Die Hard, Bruce Willis, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, because I put out a thing on Facebook. I was like, guess what director, who's worked with Michael Fassbender. A couple of people were like throwing out weird guesses, but they didn't get it, And I was like, here's a clue. He has a name of one of the most badass 80s characters.
Yeah.
And, my friend was like, oh, Snake Plissken. I was like, well, it was a close one. It was close. Not quite Snake Plissken.
I would prefer to be called, that would be a cooler name. But I don't think they call many people in Scotland
Snake
by the name of Snake. So, yeah.
So how'd you get into film?
I went to art school and did painting. And then met fellow sort of musicians around that time in art school and formed a band.
Because was it the Beta Band?
Yeah, it was called the Beta Band, the Beta Band or the Beta Band.
And folktronic? Is that what I was looking at, I was like, what is folktronic?
That was what other people tried to call us because we were just kind of eclectic. We did play Vancouver and Toronto, and we played all over the place, but we played those places a lot. And I started making the music videos for the band. And I think because of my art school background, the visual thing appealed to me more than, by the end of the band, I was kind of more into making the videos than
performing
in the end. And I tried to make the videos not like pop promos. I tried to make them like short films. So it was I knew I was a great lover of cinema. So I was trying to make them cinematic. And then when the band split up, I just started making my own little shorts.
But when you were in the art school, were you taking camera classes and stuff?
No. I mean, I still couldn't tell you one end of a camera from the other. But, lucky I've got a great cameraman now. But no, it was more just, I guess, composition and painterly references. And I started, while I was at art school, I worked in the cinema in Edinburgh. And so I was watching loads of amazing, it did late night double bill reps. So I was watching kind of like amazing old films on the big screen as well. So I was really interested in cinema.
What's your favorite genre? Is it Western?
It's not actually.
Okay.
I do like sort of the gangster noir thriller genre. I think I got into cinema. I think my dad liked a lot of Westerns. So first of all, I was aware of Westerns when I was a kid. And then I just got into my local video shop genre, which was only had Die Hard, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop,
all the classics,
Rambo, Rocky, so that was, I just used to rent them all the time, and I got sort of a bit upset, but I never thought that they were, I never really thought that they were kind of made by a director. I just thought they existed, so I didn't think, hey, I could do that one day. I was happy just to enjoy them and watch them. And then when I worked at the Cameo Cinema in Edinburgh, there was a lot more sort of art house cinema at that time in the 90s that I didn't really get. I wasn't really into the sort of 3-color stuff or the European stuff that was being made at the time, which was quite romantic and light. And I sort of liked my violent stuff. So I was, because then obviously I started getting into Scorsese and John Carpenter and all these other, because you start, seeing where did these people get their inspiration from. And then Quentin Tarantino came to the cinema I worked in and showed Reservoir Dogs and did a talk. And that was a big moment because he kind of talked about his influences, and then, making this film, which was a kind of fitted into the art house genre, but was definitely influenced by the films I had loved. So I thought, wait a minute, I can, maybe I can do that, So it reassessed what I thought about cinema, that talk. And, and then, I just went on a voyage of discovery of films from then on.
And what's the process now? Because you're a writer and director of all your work so far.
Yeah,
which it's the 2 shorts and the feature film.
Yeah, I don't know a writer for a start, so I think I always tell students, if you don't know any great writers or any writers, full stop, then you need to start writing. You can't just make films without scripts, but
you could, but yeah,
you realize quite quickly that sometimes the better the script, the better the film. So, I started writing. Even the one note kind of music video-y things I was doing were kind of written and storyboarded. So I already felt like I was never, I kind of always failed English, and I never read until I was a lot older, so I never thought of myself as being particularly suited to writing. But then I think with film scripts, you can come from a very visual place and write. So once I sort of got confidence, thought I can write, then then it's just, then you just get really into the writing part of it. I'd love now for the kind of film that I want to make, that script to sort of land on my desk, but that doesn't really happen. Yeah. So I do the kind of slog of writing, which is good when it's good and hellish when it's not good.
It must have helped coming from the artist background, though, because you could storyboard a thing before fully, writing the dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have it all planned out in your head.
Exactly. I think that's it. And I think it's almost, the process is almost more like daydreaming than writing. I don't sit at the desk with the typewriter going fast. I sort of almost imagine myself sitting in the cinema and watching the film, and what happens next is the next scene. And, so yeah.
I followed a lot of, or read a lot of Stephen King stuff. I love him. And then he came out with the On Writing book.
Yeah.
And that really helped me a lot.
Yeah, I think even that On Writing book should be read by filmmakers as well.
I think it certainly should. Yeah. Anyone that wants to pursue any kind of creative art really should look at his process. Whether you like Stephen King books or not, it's kind of irrelevant. It's just
it is.
The process that he breaks down in that is really brilliant.
Yeah. For sure.
It definitely helped me. I haven't finished any of my film scripts. I have probably 10 half-started film scripts I need to fucking finish. But But Slow West, it was one of my favorite movies last year. It was brilliant.
Thanks.
I'm a huge, I'm a huge cinephile. I love movies of all genres and all levels of budget and wherever they might be filmed.
Yeah.
And yours just jumped out at me. I don't know what it was. Just
because it was good.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was stylistically, it was so brilliantly shot. Who is your DOP on that?
Robbie Ryan, who shot a lot with Andre Arnold, so he shot Fish Tank.
I love Fish Tank.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, he's a great cinematographer, and he just shot American Honey, and I managed to get him for a short film called Pitch Black Heist. I did, and I just got him because he owed a favor to my producer or something, and he turned out, and he was very sort of known for kind of being very handheld style, like Fish Tank's quite almost docu style, and I wanted him to be very on tripod and deep focus and filmic, but of course he switched to that because he is so great, and same with Slow West, it was we hardly ever moved the camera and it was very deep focus, but I think between him and his lighting guy, but he is really Robbie's a really master of light, so it was such a pleasure to work with him, and personality wise we got on. So yeah,
the colors were popping in that movie. Shooting in New Zealand,
well, that's the thing. Everyone said, the grading is you've turned everything up, or it's intense, or why did you choose that grade? And to be honest, that was pretty much what it was like there.
Yeah, having been there, like I know what you're saying. Like, I don't think it was altered much at all.
No, it wasn't. And I think the other sort of frustrating thing is that, especially with Westerns, people seem to turn the color out of them just to make them look a bit more sepia or something.
Yeah,
so
they dull them down.
Jesse James and stuff, which I really love the film, but it's got a slight sort of, old photographed, slightly turned down colors. So just by leaving the colors not turned down, people will automatically think, wow, the sky's blue and the grass is green, but that was sort of deliberate. So.
Was there any kind of like mountain ranges in the distance that you had to take out or all like switch?
I was bothered about some. I was bothered about Mount Cook in one of the shots, but no one's ever, it's quite far away and no one's ever said anything about it.
Because where did you shoot the majority?
Middle of the South Island, right bang in the middle. This place called Twizel. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the first time I went on a recce, they took me on this sort of tour of all the locations that Lord of the Rings do and all that, and everything just seemed a bit New Zealandy. And I'd spent a long time in sort of traveling America, and I especially enjoyed. I sort of imagined this as being southern Colorado, just sort of between, the Rockies are on one side, and then you've got the desert-y landscape but you've still got the green of sort of where the south meets the north, really. There's a sort of good mix.
Yeah.
I imagined it there. So we definitely found a place that wasn't really used that felt like that place. So it
did. Like I totally was thrown when I first watched. Like, this looks like it is in like the south, north, kind of west area of the North Americas.
Yeah.
Because I got family in Colorado, so I've like explored all around the States and Canada, and I was like, this is there. And then at end credits come and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then just oddly enough, we were there like a few months later.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, New Zealand. They use it for a lot of things. And then I don't want to compare you too much to other things, but like, because this is your first feature.
Yeah.
But it had a vibe to me of, what's his name? Denis Villeneuve?
Oh.
Is that right? Am I saying the right name? Prisoners and Sicario?
Yeah.
Like,
Sicario, I loved, actually. So,
that was one of my others for my top five from last year. Slow S, Sicario. Ant-Man got in there. I know it's a big budget one, but I loved Ant-Man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was a jury member with the editor of Ant-Man, and I was raking him for stories about it and stuff. But he was proud of it as well.
I was a little upset about the Edgar Wright situation because he's fucking brilliant. I love that guy.
Yeah.
So I don't fully know what happened. You could see in the film moments where it was like, oh, this is clearly an Edgar Wright thing.
Exactly.
And then you'd be like, oh, this is Peyton Reed now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just such there's these machines, when they reach that stage and they've got their sort of style that you need to stick to so you don't upset the comic industry or something, probably. But there's definitely a machine already in place before any director comes in, I think.
Yeah. Well, with him, I think it's like the thing that Marvel's trying to do with all their movies is have them all interconnected. And I think he wanted to do a standalone Ant-Man film.
I actually think that if he had done it after Deadpool, they probably would have kept him, because I think Deadpool showed
the game.
That you could do something with a different tone and still get people to come and see it.
I was there when they were filming that in Vancouver. It's great.
Yeah.
They put up this fake. They said it was an art exhibit. It was just off the highway scene that they shot.
Yeah.
Of all these stacked up cars, but it was really just a thing for Deadpool. I don't even think it ended up in the film, which was odd too. Yeah. And my friend, I forget what his role was, but he was working on the movie. He's just like, man, they're going to make this movie properly. Because he was there with Ryan, and Ryan Reynolds is like in the ninja suit there, fully dressed as Deadpool, and he's just cracking jokes, and he's really committed to the role. And they wanted to do it properly. Yeah. And I think, they nailed it. But now you're seeing a lot of these studios wanting to do a really off the wall, rated R type thing. Yeah. Which I think they should do, because I don't know about you, I'm a huge comic book nerd.
Well, I'm not, but I love sort of when big budget cinema's done right. I love it. So I kind of always try to hoping, you know, like I enjoyed the first Batman that Nolan did, and enjoyed the first Iron Man, but you know, I think they get it wrong a lot of the time as well. But
yeah, Iron Man 2 and 3.
yeah.
Sorry, Shane Black. You're hit and miss, Shane Black.
Yeah, but what was I going to say about Sicario? Oh yeah, I went to see Hell on High Water that I really enjoyed.
I just saw that a couple weeks ago with the wife, and she didn't like it as much as me, but I thought it was a solid movie.
Yeah. And
Ben Foster, he could just slip into any role.
Yeah, and the other guy I really liked, which was a surprise.
Chris Pine.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of his too. Right. Some people are hating on it. He's like too pretty or something. Or
I don't know. I think I only saw him in Star Trek and was like, which I really enjoyed the first Star Trek as well. But I just thought he was I thought he was a sort of different to what he did there.
He did a good indie a few years ago. I can't remember the name of it. Contagion or something. It's sort of like a post-apocalyptic, but it's low budget. It's just him and his brother,
right?
And they're traveling around the States, looking for safe places, and they run into other survivors. And, I was like, wow, okay, no, this guy's actually a pretty good actor. Like he doesn't just do these big Hollywood things. Because I think him and Tom Hardy did this horrible rom-com where they're spies or something.
Oh, yeah.
But they shot that in Vancouver, and I was like, I remember them filming it there. I was just like, this does not look good. Like sometimes you could tell, even in a filming process. Not always, but
it's funny how short lives some of these films have as well. I remember that now, but
I feel like
just
that's
comes
swept
and goes
under the rug. Because like, I mean, you talk about Tom Hardy. He's got this incredible film career, but then
he's got a few actually that I've just sort of gone, but yeah, not his fault.
Yeah, no, it was no Bronson, that's for sure. What was your budget for Slow West? Because that was one thing I couldn't find.
I think it was, I'm just trying to think in dollars, probably about $5 or $6 million. It was under 4 million UK, which for a first film is incredibly generous, but for a Western, it was incredibly tight, you know, so there was a lot of people working extremely hard to keep the production at that level, but yeah.
And was that another reason for New Zealand? Is it cheaper to film there? Or?
The first reason was that Michael was available November, December of that year, and it's all outside. And I thought, well, that's a risk to go to any country in the Northern Hemisphere. So I started thinking that's a big plus to New Zealand, it being nearly summer and we're shooting. And I think my cameraman had worked in New Zealand and he said go over and recce. And then when I went over and I started seeing locations that I'd written in the script, like a sort of the buffalo and the crack and that I thought that's exactly like my script, and I may not even find that in America, you know. And then just a variety of locations in a road movie, and thinking, you know, the size of Colorado, you know, you're talking moving a whole machine, you know, 2 days until you get out of the forest and onto a plane. So just practically, it just ticked too many boxes to sort of ignore. Obviously, I'd love to have shot in Colorado, but I didn't regret it because it gave me so much more freedom to shoot there as far as manageability.
Yeah. How'd you get Fassbender? He's a hot shot.
Yeah, I sort of got to know his agent a few years ago when I was still in music scene and music business. And I was saying to his agent, I really want to, you know, I was giving him scripts and giving him YouTube clips of what I'd done, and he was friends with Michael, and Michael was he was around Michael's house and he showed the YouTube clips, and Michael said, oh, who did these? And this guy John, and Michael said, oh, and then I was introduced a few weeks later, and Michael said, do you want to do something, you know? And he was shooting Inglourious Bastards at the time, so he wasn't, you know,
I guess
it wasn't like I'd met him. He was pretty much in the industry he had, actually. I mean, by then he'd already taken off. He didn't have to work with someone that had done nothing. And he gave up a Sunday, or a few Sundays actually, and we shot a little film called Man on a Motorcycle, and I shot it on my mobile phone. It's my first short film, first time with an actor, so I just thought, I'd already been shooting loads of stuff on my phone, so I just thought, why don't I just shoot him on my phone? So
What kind of phone was it?
it was pre-iPhone. It was like a Nokia.
Wow, pre-iPhone.
I know.
I see. I had that
iPhone
idea,
is so recent.
but-
It's like 2009 is pre-iPhone. So,
Yeah.
so I shot with them, and the film turned out pretty well, and it got me interest and got me funding for another short. And I went back to Michael. I made sure it was fun, the first shoot, and and then made another short with Michael called Pitch Black Heist, and that did really well. That won the BAFTA and UK and stuff. So
Yeah, I really like that. I just found that today. 'Cause
Right.
I was trying to find some more stuff, and I was
Yeah,
like,
so
I couldn't find the motorcycle, man.
it's not up. We're still trying to figure out what to do with that. Yeah, and I just made sure Pitch Black Heist was good and fun to make, and the collaboration was good. So, and Michael's production company was just beginning, so he exec produced Pitch Black Heist. So, I think already then we were talking about maybe a feature, and it'd be a way of him to exec produce, be a little bit more involved in the whole process, and he came on board with Slow West very, pre-script.
So did he produce Slow West?
He didn't produce, he sort of exec produced, so it meant he was more available during the script writing. I'd go and have read-throughs with him, and we'd talk about characters, and I specifically wrote knowing that he'd play Silas, and so he was just a little bit more involved than an actor coming in at the end. So that was good. And yeah, I guess I wasn't spending all the money on his fee as well. But hopefully he'll get some money back at some point.
Well, you guys seem to have a good chemistry then, because I liked Pitch Black Heist was a great little short.
Yeah, that was.
I love the end there, the little twist. And I was like, because I was like, where's this leading me down? Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. That's clever.
I think it's quite good because you can watch it again, and there's a lot more hints.
Yeah, you
and all that.
pick up on the
Yes.
stuff the second time round.
Yeah.
And again, Slow West. I mean, Cody Smith McPhee. How many things has he done at the time when you had him?
Yeah.
I mean, now he's Nightcrawler in the X-Men franchise, but
he had an interesting career because when he was 10 or 11, he was in The Road with Viggo Mortensen.
is he the
He's
kid?
Yeah,
he's Viggo's kid. That he tells him to put the gun. Oh my
Yes.
God! I mean, the book is so much grimmer than the
It
film,
is.
but
It
they're
is.
both pretty depressing things.
Yeah.
Cormac McCarthy, what a great writer.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite book of his as well, The Road. But
Same. Yeah, I don't like his horse trilogy as
Yeah.
much. It's interesting, but it didn't capture me the way The Road did.
Yeah. And he was 10 when he did that. And then when I met him, he was 17. And he'd done a few really interesting films in between, actually. So he'd sort of grown up with, the kind of experience that meant that he wouldn't be too fearful of a double-hander with Michael. He was kind of...
Yeah, because it's basically the two of them
Yeah.
carrying it.
Yeah. So I knew he was very capable, and he turned out to be, and totally mature for 17, and
He killed it in the movie. It was great.
Yeah.
He's great. He played it so well.
Well, it's a really hard character because it's someone that has to be sympathetic and not annoying, but kind of you want to kind of wring his neck sometimes. But so he played the fine line of being a little bit useless, but also being a bit charming, and you want to kind of root for him. So that was all down to, and with very little dialogue to kind of play on that. It was all down to his and Michael's
It's down
very
to the
subtle
acting.
subtle
It's down to the
performances.
emoting, and
Yeah.
that's why that's one of another reason I like it is like you did less is more kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
the performers really had to step it up, and show what you were trying to bring out.
Yeah.
And I think they all nailed it. I like Ben Mendelsohn and his little band of robbers there.
Yeah.
Pain. Now, whose choice was it to put him in that coat?
I was definitely. I wanted him in that coat
because that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love his outfit. He's so good.
Yeah, that's in the script because there's a few great quotes in Western history. There's an early John Ford film called The Iron Horse, and the guy's got a great fur coat in that. And then McCabe and Mrs. Miller. What's his name? It's got a great fur coat.
I'm bad at westerns.
Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty?
Yeah, it's got a great. That's a great western. McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
Yeah,
All right, I'll
Robert
watch
Altman.
that.
It's
So
amazing.
I was not really the biggest western fan growing up.
Yeah, McCabe and Mrs. Miller's not a western. It's 70s. Warren Beatty's brilliant, and Leonard Cohen does a great soundtrack. So it's very much a sort
wicked.
of
Cool.
left field thing, but it's great.
All right, I'll have to check that
Still a
out
western.
because, like, I think it wasn't only in the last couple of years I started watching some westerns and kind of really digging them. I mean, this is kind of a more big budget one, but I really like 310 to Yuma.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I don't know about having mini guns back in the day. How that?
Yeah,
I was like,
I think so.
I feel like they added that just because
Well, you
they
got to
need
watch The
some.
Wild Bunch. Have you seen The Wild Bunch?
No,
Oh, okay.
I want to go see what's this new Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, you should watch The Wild Bunch. It's Wild Bunch happens at a weird period where cowboys are older and things like machine guns have started to come in and cars and stuff, but they're still novelties. So it's right at the cusp of horses and technology. But The Wild Bunch is one of the best westerns as well.
I'll have to check that one out. Have you seen Bone Tomahawk? That just
You know,
came
I
out the other year.
haven't. My dad's got it on DVD, and so I'm going to watch it when I go home in a couple of weeks.
That was surprisingly a really good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with Matthew Fox in it, I have to, it's a tough go sometimes with Matthew Fox.
Right.
But I mean,
Okay.
he's just featured. He's not the man. Like Kurt Russell,
Yes.
he's phenomenal.
Oh, he's always great.
I feel like they just got him off of the Hateful Eight.
Yes.
Because he almost has the same
Probably.
beard and look going on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was fantastic in it though. And that's another low budget. I mean, sort of like a Western horror.
Yeah, we're
They're
always.
billing it.
I mean, anytime I read now any kind of reviews of any other westerns, they always sort of say, if it's not good, they'll say go and see Slow West or Bone Tomahawk. So we're kind of lumped together in westerns that were interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'd say, if you like gore and stuff, go see Bone Tomahawk. If you want like a solid movie, go see your movie.
Yeah.
Slow West is just, I don't know. Again, I try not to brown it, but I thought it was like a near perfect film.
Oh, well, thanks for
And in my head, I couldn't think of what, off the top of my head, like what would make it better. I don't know. I don't think there is anything. I liked the ending. And I'm not going to spoil anything here for people. If you're listening and you have not seen this film, go see it. I think it's on UK Netflix right now.
It is, yeah.
It's not on American Netflix. I do have more of an American and Canadian audience, but
I think it's definitely on possibly Amazon and
I mean, you could buy it anywhere,
yes,
rent it
yeah.
anywhere.
I think it was on DirecTV in America. I don't know if that's still, but yeah, there's definitely an easy way of seeing it.
Now, how do you go about getting funding for something like this? Because you're like, as you say, it's your first feature. So who do you go to? How does that process work? Where you get $6 million or something to then go to New Zealand and shoot a movie?
Yeah, I think the strength of the short film helped because there was a few British companies like BFI and Film 4 that support first-time filmmakers if they've got strong short films. So that was one sort of tick. Secondly, having Michael sign up doesn't hurt getting money.
When did you first connect with him?
Very first 2009.
Okay.
So
that was the Man on a Motorcycle.
Yes.
09.
Yeah.
And then 2012 you did the Pitch Black Heist.
Yes.
Okay.
2011 or 2012, and then 13 started getting funding for Slow West. So, and then making sort of good decisions like going to New Zealand helped because New Zealand Film Council came on board with some money, and having a good script helped because some distributors picked up the film judging on the strength of the script. So I think, there's not one magic button, but just having everything.
A series of things came together.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe you can tell me, maybe you can't. What are you working on in the future? What's next?
I was going to, because I am interested in contemporary kind of noir cinema and that kind of contemporary thriller cinema, but somehow I've been dragged back into the past. And definitely thinking about doing something set in the past in Britain. And I do like the idea of swords and not guns. So that's all I can say right now.
Swords and not guns. All right. Well, you're not. Are you doing Assassin's Creed 2?
No.
I know Fassbender's attached to that for a few years now, probably.
Probably.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how this one does.
Yeah, but I'm following the progress of Assassins. But I just want to write a great script and see where I can take it from there.
You're currently working on the script though for the next
right
thing?
Right now I am, yeah.
I've interrupted the process.
There's not really there's not really a process. Some ideas hit me in fact I hardly ever get good ideas when I'm in my studio. So I just watch films. As you can see, I've got this pile to watch. That pile to watch. That's the pile I have watched so far, just for research for this film.
From these movies, can I interpret maybe what you're trying to work on here?
Influenced by, but let's not say anything just yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. From that collection, it looks like it could be very interesting. So you want to set it here in England?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
But yeah.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, one of the other directors you kind of reminded me of when I was watching the film is, and it's funny that you say like the noir style, is Rian Johnson.
Oh, I'm terrible with modern
names. He directed Brick.
Oh, of course.
That was his first, I'm pretty sure his first feature, and then he did Looper.
Yes,
and
of
course,
now
he's just, I guess he's in the process of editing Star Wars, whatever, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is.
Yeah, I thought Brick was Brick his first film then?
I think it is.
Yeah,
it's the first thing I saw of his, and I was just like, wow. Because like you say, he does black and white instead of color.
Yeah.
Which I like. Some people don't like that. I don't mind. If it's done properly, I don't care if there's color or not.
Yeah. I think he reminds me a lot of Christopher Nolan, actually, in his sort of career path, where he does something. His first film is very clever. Like
Following?
Or like Memento, the kind of Brick and Memento or something. I've somehow associated that. Maybe I watched them both the same week or something. And then Looper is that kind of mid-film that shows he can take on a big budget, which is Nolan didn't he? Sort of.
Yeah, what was that?
I think it was like...
Was it Prestige?
Following,
no, he did something else.
Following
was his first one, then Memento.
No, he did
Insomniac?
Yeah, Insomniac. Insomniac kind of said, I could work with big actors and do something.
Although that was my least favorite of his works.
For sure. I agree.
Prestige is underrated, I feel.
Yeah.
I love Prestige.
Yeah.
I mean, it has David Bowie playing Nikola Tesla.
Well, I've got to watch that again, yeah.
That's just excellent. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish there'd been a scene of Bowie and a pigeon and them like, making love or something. Maybe it's in the outtakes. I don't know.
But yeah, that noir, I'm a big fan of Chinatown, I guess. So my love of noir comes from Chinatown, I think. One
of the first shorts that I starred in was it was like a film noir. It's actually a woman from here who directed. No, she's from Wales originally, I think. Emma, I can't believe I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun because I liked it. It was black and white. It was a silent movie. I think it was just before, who was it? Scorsese that did the black and white silent movie or something a couple years ago.
It was The Artist.
The Artist. Yeah. So
that
it was
wasn't Scorsese, but The Artist, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like that kind of vibe. We were gangsters and this guy falls in love with this girl, so he wants to leave the gang, and a boss won't let him, so we go kill him. And then, yeah, that's how it ends. It's not a happy ending.
No, that's okay.
But I love the black and white noir style storytelling. I'm a huge fan of old time radio.
Okay.
I was going to say, because I wasn't sure if you're a big Western guy, but like I put out these old time radio shows because I feel like people nowadays don't know about them.
Right.
You know, or like maybe someone did like them, listen to them, like someone older than myself listened to them, doesn't know where to find them nowadays.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
yeah.
every week in between doing these type of interview podcasts, I will put out a thing called Biff's Mystery Theater.
Okay, you should send me a link to that. I'd love to hear.
And one of the best ones, which I think you could probably adapt into I don't want to get you stuck in a Western genre.
No.
But there's this great series called Frontier Gentlemen.
Okay.
And so it's a reporter from the London Times, which I'm pretty sure is not a real newspaper.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is there a London Times?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, there's the
Times of London, right?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe not London Times.
His name is J.B. Kendall, and he works for the London Times, and he's sent to the America to cover, the beginning of the West.
Yeah.
So he's like, as a reporter, he covers the stories of the times, but as a man with a gun, he makes history in this new land or something. I'm forgetting the tagline, but it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
So he just runs into all these different encounters and like, oh yeah, you're from London, is you? Yeah, how you doing there, man? Like, well, sir.
Yeah.
He takes part in trials. He stakes a claim and helps guys like fight off bandits and saves women from desolation and slavery and stuff. It's a brilliant series.
Yeah, that sounds probably like Deadwood sort of crosses that sort of thing as well.
Yeah,
I think Deadwood was interesting for being quite authentic and quite about the beginning of all these things. Yeah, the beginning of...
I love Deadwood. Yeah. I was so pissed when they canceled that. Because the whole last season was set up for the next season, and then they just killed it. Apparently, everyone signed on, and there's a film in the making.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to pick up, hopefully, where they left off.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's on board, Oliphant and the rest of them. So I'm really hoping that actually comes to fruition. It's not just one of those things that will remain in production forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian McShane as Square Engine. Oh, my God. Yeah. That's another one of those Westerns that I really could get on board with. It's just like, this is an amazing piece of art right here.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have... Okay, well, yeah. You see, this other than that one, like, what is like a dream of yours? What would you love to work on if someone would give you a script?
Yeah, I think I would like. I would like to work in America. I would like to work in LA or Palm Springs as far as the architecture and the light and I would like to do a sort of detective or noir or in that kind of American environment, because I do think that there's something. It's no surprise that America's sort of taken cinema, because I think when you go there and the light and the landscapes and the cityscapes lend themselves to stories and so I definitely think whether I could, I mean, the reason why I think I got away with writing a Western was because the character came from Scotland, the kid. And so
I love that whole angle. Yeah. The Scottish kid coming to the Americas.
Yeah. I think I would have been false for me to go in and write an American story, because I don't know what it's like to grow up in America, for instance. So
it's not so great if you're black or Hispanic.
I read that. I read about that. So I think, if there was a way into that world that I could relate to, then I certainly would like to write that. But if not, then I would love to direct a film that had that kind of the history of the genre that kind of goes from Chinatown to what's the Paul Thomas Anderson? Oh God, the detective story he did like a year or two ago. Inherent Vice.
Inherent Vice, yes.
The Chinatown Inherent Vice world of kind of America appeals to me.
I could definitely see you in that zone.
Yeah.
Even was it like a No Country for All? Again,
Yeah.
I keep going to Western type things, but
yeah, for sure.
And so
I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers. I think that's another. When I started getting into them, that was the first directors that were contemporary that I would look forward to seeing their next film come out in the cinema. And that sort of doesn't happen so much.
No,
days.
Yeah, I think it's just the directors I've mentioned. Those are the ones.
Yeah.
That I'm like, what's coming out? Oh, weird. You have that book. I have that same book.
Yeah.
This is a great book.
It's great. Yeah.
So, you've just sidetracked me. He has a book called The Conversations. It's this brilliant book about film editing.
Yeah.
I've read that same book several
every
times.
director should read it. I think you'd be mistaken to think only editors should read it. I mean, it's a great book for anyone that's writing a script or interested in cinema anyway. And
well, I like that about you as well, because I mean, like you said, no scripts were landing on your desk, but so you wrote, directed, and I'm assuming had a hand in the editing.
Yes. Yeah.
Not full editor, but edit.
I'd always edited myself. I mean, I edited Pitch Black Heist, and again, I didn't know an editor, and these days you can edit on your Mac. So when it came to Slow West, it's editing feature films is a whole other world.
Is it?
So,
I've only had to work on my Mac as well. So I'm very hands on with anything I do. I want to control all the aspects. I'm the producer, writer, director, editor.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the edit, and we had two different editors, and the gap in between the two different editors, I was doing a lot of editing. So Crash Course in Avid, and which wasn't as difficult as people let you believe that it's this magical thing that you can't touch. But actually,
it's not that hard because what were you using? Final Cut on the Mac? It's not that different.
Not really.
There's more features.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more professional, but they both, I think, have their pluses and minuses. And annoyingly, the shortcuts are different for both. So I kept on doing delete instead of cut and all that. But so Slow West I had a bit of a bash, and then got snowed under and shouted help and got a good editor in again. So it's a different. I don't think it was necessarily how close I was to material, because a lot of people say that, you can't edit yourself because of that, but I don't agree. I think it's more just someone that can keep in their head, the 90 minutes when they're working on the 2 seconds. And that's a whole skill that someone that's been working for 30 or 40 years editing, can really control that. I certainly couldn't.
Yeah. Well, editing's it's such an art form all of its own too. Like, I'm not trying to praise myself too much, but like when we were in film school, we all go and film our own shorts and stuff. And then we went to we were showing each other, like this group was working on one, we were working on another. We were a group of bumbling losers that try to rob a house, and it turns out it's already being robbed.
That's good.
But my friends, they were working on this one where it's supposed to be like a romantic comedy. This guy's he's a writer, but he's got writer's block. I think they called the movie Lover's Block or something, or Love Block. I forget. But they showed me the cut, and I was just like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. I didn't say garbage in front of them. I was like, this could use some work, guys.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I tinker around with it?
Yeah.
And I took the footage, and I just put it in a different order. I threw a different song behind it, a couple different cuts, and I put that trailer up, and people were like, "Wow, that movie looks awesome." I was like, "Yeah, it does now."
Yeah, no, even with 4 or 5, if you give 4 or 5 different people the same 1 minute shot, you're going to get 4 or 5 completely different stories or cuts, or it's amazing. even if I didn't shoot much more than what you see in Slow West, but there's still endless possibilities with the same footage. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can tell any kind of story almost. It's weird how you can alter something. Mm-hmm. So I never believe what you see on TV, people. No. It could be totally something different.
Yep.
Do you have any aspirations of like getting into comedies or anything? I mean, there is comedy within Slow West for sure.
I think I would say it would be tougher for me to work on a film that didn't have comedy in it, for sure. I think I would find it quite limiting to write something that is so deadly serious that there's not a laugh, So I think everything, whether it's an out-and-out comedy or whether it's like Slow West, a film with comedy moments, that's what sort of appeals to me. I would love to do something. I'd love to make something that's genuinely funny, for sure, because I don't think it happens so often, and I'd love to do. I mean, I'm a big fan of a film maybe like With Nail and I or something, which I find genuinely funny from beginning to end. Whereas I find with a lot of rom-coms or comedies or American comedies, the first two acts are really funny, and then the third act has to be a bit like, okay, let's get a bit serious now. Even stuff like Groundhog Day or these films that are classic comedies still have the soppy third act.
Where we all learned a lesson. We're growing. Yeah, and I love you.
Yeah,
and they can't just keep the laughs going full stop.
Yeah, so
maybe Dumb and Dumber. That's one.
Well, I'm a big fan of
because they don't learn anything. They don't learn anything by the end of the film.
Good.
They're the same.
I think the favorite of that genre is Kingpin. To me, I think is one of the most underrated and funny films ever made.
Now, I said that for the longest time. I rewatched it recently with the wife.
No, it
didn't hold up. There's great moments in it.
There is,
but like as a whole, it wasn't holding up the way. Like from what I remembered in the past, because I was like, I'm trying to show my wife all these movies.
Yeah.
Like, you're from London. You haven't seen some of these great American films.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch Kingpin. It's great. Randy Quaid and Bill Murray.
There's still too many good lines in that for that to be not funny. I'm sure.
No, it's not that it's not funny. It doesn't hold up as one of the because I had the exact same thing as you. I was like, it's one of the all-time greatest comedies.
Yeah.
It is superb. And then I was like, well, I'm not laughing like I usually would anymore. I don't know if my senses have changed, because I noticed that's a big thing in films and television stuff, is the nostalgia factor.
Of course.
And I try to always remove myself from that when I'm like doing a review or trying to like process what it is. I'm like, all right, because I liked a lot of things that were garbage at the time. You named a bunch of the movies when you're at the video store, right?
Yeah.
And some of those hold up, some don't. Rambo holds up.
Yes.
I love that movie. I think that still holds. The original Rambo, First Blood. Him in Vancouver running around a small town. Well, I guess it was like outside of Vancouver. It's like, that's not where it was set, but that's where they filmed it.
Yeah.
And that was great. And RoboCop, I still think, is a superb movie.
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah.
The claymation, whatever, animatronic thing they did with the robot there at 209.
I think there's a big difference. It's switched between RoboCop, Rambo, and Die Hard. When you watch them now, the message is quite anti-military in all those films. And then you look at Transformers or some of these films now, the pro-military message. I think there's still, if you look at Die Hard, the police, the military, they all come in and screw up
they're
badly.
All inept,
and they're all assholes,
except Carl Winslow from Family Matters.
True. So there is and RoboCop, such an anti-military message that I think that's been lost. So that's the beauty of those films as well. Yeah.
Craziest thing about RoboCop is that's what's happening now. Detroit is like that now. Mine is having a RoboCop to save them.
We played Detroit a good few times, so I know that city. Wow. Yeah.
It's turned quite Mexican, actually, the last few years.
Really?
Or Hispanic, anyway.
Right.
Because coming from Toronto, we always go through Detroit.
Yeah.
Either to because I got a lot of family in the South, in the States. So we always drive through Detroit. And like in the last couple of times we had gone through, I noticed like, oh, it's now there used to be English here. Now every sign is in Spanish.
Wow.
I was like, well, that's interesting. I don't know why they want to live in Detroit. I mean, I guess it's better than Mexico, but it ain't much better.
Yeah.
I feel like if you've made it to the States, there's so many options.
Yeah.
Really, the only sensible ones is you're either going to be in New York or go to LA. Or like, I mean, well, Pacific Northwest, I'll take anywhere in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous. I mean, I'd highly recommend trying to shoot something out there.
Yeah.
For your next film. And if you need a guy, hey, I'm available.
Okay.
I will lick your shoes, I'll shine your shoes, whoever I got to shine, I'll do that.
So you're talking about like Seattle area or Puget Sound or Washington or
well, you know, like where they shot Goonies.
Yeah.
The Goonies. It's this town called Astoria.
Okay.
And it's just in between. Well, I'm mixing it up. No, it's south of Seattle.
Yeah.
Because it's in Oregon.
Yeah.
But it's really close to Seattle.
Yeah.
And it's just gorgeous because you have the redwood forests around you, but then you have the oceans as well.
Yeah.
And there's all these little coves and stuff. Like me and my brother, we did a road trip in 2013 up the Pacific Highway there.
Yeah.
Highway 101. It's just one of the best drives you could do in your life if you want to have a good road trip drive.
I've done bits of that. I've done LA to San Francisco.
I didn't go that far south. I went from we met in Colorado for a family reunion, top of Colorado, Steamboat Springs. Went down from there into Utah, and then crossed the Salt Flats there. And we were gonna meet up a guy in Sacramento, but he bailed on us because his family was in town. So I think we were in Reno at that point when I contacted him. It's like, well, if he's not there, let's not go any further south. Let's just go straight across if we can. And we ended up in a town called Eureka.
Okay.
In California. It's just at the top.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Amazing. I was like, oh, the ocean. Yes, we just gone through the deserts and the mountains, and now we're at the ocean.
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh,
yeah, I've done lots of driving in America. So
and then, and then driving up the PCH into Oregon, you go into the redwood forest. It's so gorgeous, man. And found this, and then we found Astoria, because like one of our goals is like, we're going to go see where the Goonies house is and where they shot some of the scenes, like where he holds up the key, the little coin key thing. It's like, that's the Rock, Mikey. It was great. What I didn't realize was they've totally turned it into a tourism attraction. Like someone lives in the Goonies house.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they have like this giant Israeli flag and American flag posted out front, which I thought was kind of odd. It's like, I didn't know the Goonies were like really into Israel and were Jewish. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And you can go and walk around the house. They don't seem to mind too much.
Okay.
But they're like, if you want to come in, you got to pay us some money. Wow. And you can go up into the attic where they find the map and all that. And it's like, doesn't look at all, because they've totally renovated the home. It's not 1987 or whatever. So
I'm surprised. I bet some of those rooms might have even been studio mixed with the outside of the house. As well.
But,
so.
well, like, because Data, when he swings across to go to their house, you know, that house isn't there anymore.
Yeah, no.
That you can't, that thing doesn't exist. And also in that same town, they shot Kindergarten Cop.
Okay.
So there's like the school where Arnold was right around the corner as well. But Astoria is just a really cool looking town. Because it's kind of sort of New Zealandish. If you were in Wellington, right? And well, even Auckland, same. You know, it's kind of like built up on the hills. And then you can, work your way down the hills to the waterfront. Yeah. So, like Astoria is that vibe. It's a really cool town. Big forest that you can jump into as well.
Yeah, I love all that area.
I'm trying to set something in Costa Rica because, I mean, I love the country. I spent many years going back there. I did some volunteer work, and I fell in love with it, so I go back every year. And I want to set something there where I, like, discover a secret lab somewhere in the jungle that belongs to Nikola Tesla. And I'm not going to say anymore. But
no, don't. Yeah.
But it'll be I don't know. I love finding cool locations, and like I feel like I'm doing a lot of prep for films that I haven't even started working on yet.
I think a location is a great place to start writing. Because then the story comes, and then as I say, Slow West was around about the Great Dunes in southern Colorado, like Zapata and all that, and that's where the seed of the story comes, and then whether you get to actually shoot there or not is another thing. But it can sometimes get the ball rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna shoot this thing where me and my buddy, we're gonna hunt each other down. It was gonna be very like limited script. We have to, emote through the acting, and like you got to pick up what's going on. But it's just struggle, but he was getting crazy with the ideas, and he's like, we're gonna have me parachute in, and I was like, dude, we're making this with your and Maya's money. Like, where are you gonna get a parachute? Where are you going to even parachute in? Like, where are we going to film these things? You're crazy. The whole reason I had it set in these woods is so it's just you and me in the woods chasing each other.
Yeah.
Very low budget. All we need to do is buy a crossbow and rent a fake gun.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's just like,
He
wanted to like throw in like, there's a shot of the plane and this and that. I was like, no, dude, we got to keep it low key.
Yeah.
Just, use what we have.
I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by the amount of people I talk to and their ambitious ideas when, when I'm writing, I'm always thinking about, can I do this for a low budget? And Slow West is set in woods because, again, if the money drops out and Michael dropped out, I can get a bunch of guys in the woods and make this film, So there's no towns, there's no like, that's all deliberate, isn't it? So yeah.
Well, I find that with a lot of first time directors for their feature, you want to do small cast, small, like not necessarily small location, but in a location that's easily managed.
Yes.
So it's either going to take place in one room or one building. Very few exteriors. In your case, it's okay to do exteriors because you're in the middle of nowhere
and they're free,
and no one's bugging. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one's bugging you, right?
Yeah.
Did you do guerrilla or did you just, or did you actually get permits to film in the park?
New Zealand is a lot less. There's a lot less rules about shooting outside than there is in America.
Okay.
Like I was shocked about what we could just walk into this thing that is a national park, and where the rock formations are, and just start shooting, and we didn't.
You didn't call nobody or get...
No, we did, but they didn't mind. They just said, yeah, go and shoot there.
No need to buy a permit or anything like that.
There might have been a permit bought, but there's not any kind of... It's not like... I think they're a bit more relaxed than other countries.
Okay, because they're real a-holes in Vancouver about stuff. Like,
right.
We have to be like... we want to shoot in this. You circle an area of a park.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be in this, this circumference. We'll stay in there. Like, all right, well, it's like X amount of dollars. You can be there between these hours.
Yeah.
Because then school's let out. Because we're doing these scenes with guns and stuff, so you can't be like running around with guns when there's like kids playing. It really messed with the sound too, actually, because we didn't get the shot we wanted, and we're running out of time, and. I think the kids had been let out of school, so we was like, I think we had to use the sound from a different take because the sound, there's just like all these kids joyously screaming as we're being tied to trees and tortured.
That could be all right. I think Tarantino did that in Reservoir Dogs. School kids in the background while someone's there.
I mean, had we established there was a school just outside of the woods, we might have thought about keeping it, but because we're supposed to be like, oh, we're isolated.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't see it. But
yeah,
I always find it tough.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of private land in New Zealand, so we were on. I think we were probably on private land more than parks.
And so
we're shooting
for
like farmland,
okay,
and you just have to get a farmer's agreement.
If you could be in any '80s movie or television show. What would it be? Now, you could either be the lead, you can replace someone who's already there, or you could just be an additional character in the film.
Well, I think when you're talking about 80s, you're talking about the master being Spielberg. I think it would have to be E.T., and I would just be one of the guys on the bikes.
Just an extra kid?
Another guy on the bike. Yeah, I think cycling around... those streets in that light with that in that film is probably about as good as it gets.
That's a great answer. One of my other guests who's like, I I think he was going to be, was he? I think he was going to just be an additional character in Predator. He didn't want to replace anyone.
Okay. You didn't want to say one of those great lines.
No. Well, I think he loves, do they call him Comanche or something?
Yeah.
He's not really Indian, but they call him Comanche or something. I love that guy.
You're bleeding. I ain't got time to bleed.
Jesse the Body Ventura, Carl Weathers. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of muscles in that movie.
Great movie.
If you had the opportunity, would you be interested in writing a series?
Yeah. I tried to investigate a book for a series, and I'm pursuing it. I think I'm a huge fan of all those HBO, Netflix.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I mean, with the market's changed. It used to be like, it's a kind of a downside to working TV, and TV's looked as a lesser, but now I feel it's more, because, I mean, people are taking chances and doing very interesting stories, stuff that hasn't been done before, whether it's because, well, for whatever reason, I don't know. There's a million reasons.
No, I mean, I think they're great, and some stories lend themselves to play out in a series, and you should embrace it. I think, I get a bit when people say like, "Oh, film's dead now," because of all these. You sort of think, "Oh no, there's still something very pure about going to the cinema and watching something from 2 hours." And
I love just going into. I love going into a good cinema,
beginning to end.
Going into a world for a while. Just it's a great amount.
So
of
I think
escapism.
that'll always be there. But I definitely think that the American television in the last 10, 20 years has definitely upped the kind of their game, and you kind of think, oh, that would be, if I think it depends what story you want to tell, and definitely some books I think, oh, this is too much for a film, but it'd make a great 1 season or 3 seasons.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. I feel when someone does decide to make a series, you got to be like, where's the cap?
Yeah.
When I watch a pilot, like I watch every pilot for any kind of show, any genre.
Yeah.
Just because I want to know what people are making, what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And when I see these, I'm like, okay, this is good, but it's got maybe just this 1 season or maybe a second. If they try to squeeze any more out of it, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Like Dexter, for instance. I read the books. I love the books for Dexter.
Right.
The writer, Jeff Lindsay, has a very rhyming kind of style of writing for when it's told through Dexter's perspective in the books. Kind of like it is in the show where you get his voiceover. But he's got this wicked little rhyming style of writing as Dexter thinks and talks and whatever. It's really good. And he's done a lot of books. I mean, the show took a turn too, but like I feel like that show is a 3 seasons max, but they ended up going like 6.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, I think even shows like Twin Peaks that are.
What was that, like 1.5 seasons?
No, it went on way beyond. It reached a natural ending, and then they just continued it. I don't even think David Lynch was involved.
It's weird too that he's now doing a return to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's interesting, but there is something about my favorites. Maybe one called The Shield that's got 7 seasons. But
Shield is brilliant.
Yeah, but at least it. It's one story arc for the whole 7 seasons, and then it finishes when it should finish. And you're just like, oh, that's perfect.
I love The Shield. Oh my God. He's so. What's the Cletus Van Dam?
Yeah.
Walton Goggins.
Yes.
Now there's a guy I would love to see you work with.
Yeah. Well, I've everything I've seen him in has been great. He
steals every scene. Yeah. He's in this new show on HBO with Danny McBride, Vice Principals.
Yeah, I've got to see this. Yeah, someone else told me.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's I mean, it's not. It's an oddball comedy.
Yeah,
but it is the two of them together. I was hoping it would be a very balanced McBride and Goggins, but it is kind of heavily centric on Danny McBride's character.
Right.
But there's like every 2 or 3 episodes, you'll get a Walton Goggins centric one. he steals all the
Yeah,
scenes.
wow.
He's so good in this
Yeah.
show. Like everything isn't justified.
Yeah.
As Timothy Oliphant's like
Yeah.
opposite there. I don't know if you've seen that whole show through.
No, I haven't actually.
That
no.
was another one where I love the finale.
Yeah.
I like the arc all the characters go on from season 1 to I guess 6 maybe they did for that. But it ends with a scene between him and Timothy Oliphant. One's in prison, one's outside of prison, and they just have this lovely little conversation. I cried a bit.
Yeah.
It was good.
Aw.
I feel like, someone needs to give you a Netflix show. Because I mean, I hate the wait every week for the thing to come out. I feel like it's an old model now.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, it is.
and
yeah.
So they especially if it's all shot. I get it if like some shows when they're airing, they're still shooting other episodes. So you can't put the whole season out. But then again, those are usually shows that are doing a 22 episode order, like American television does these long episode orders where I feel make it like a Netflix one.
Yeah.
Cut it down to 12, 10, 13, 8 even.
And you don't need the recap at the beginning, which
Yeah,
is
you
really
don't
annoying.
need the
It's like,
recaps. And they should end on a kind of a cliffhanger where you're just like, well, I have to now immediately see what happens next. And then you dive right into the next episode. But you, with Walton Goggins, who else? I don't know who else would be good.
I'd love to work with Ben Mendelsohn again. He's
Have you
brilliant.
congratulated him since Sunday? He won the Emmy.
I haven't because
For
I'm not really in
Bloodline.
touch, but I'm a huge fan of his.
How did you get Ben Mendelsohn?
My agent or the producers just asked. I had him on a list really early on as one of the top. And
Did you have him always for Pain?
yes,
Yeah.
I did. And the only unfortunate thing was that I had him for about 2 weeks. There was about 2 weeks worth of him in the script of shooting, and he got delayed on a job, and I only managed to get 3 or 4 days with him in the end.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of had to reduce
His role.
his role a little bit, which was, and a lot of people might think, why isn't there more pain or whatever? Well, that's the reason.
Wow.
But
Okay.
so I had to be very clever with how we shot him out of sequence and all that, because getting only 3 or 4 days to shoot your main bad guy is tough.
That's very tough for anyone that doesn't know how filmmaking goes.
Yes,
It's very tough.
Yeah. So, but someone said to me, would you like to work with someone else for 2 weeks, or would you like Ben Mendelsohn for 3 days? And I was like, Mendelsohn for 3 days, thank you. Yeah.
I'm the
'cause
same with
he's
you.
brilliant.
Like, he is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Again, like Goggins, he's a scene stealer.
Yeah, he is.
In your film too. Like, he just
Yeah.
steps in and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, who's this guy? Like, I want to know more about this guy. The peyote thing. Well, no, what was it? It wasn't
I'm
a
just checking my
peyote.
beeps that I'm not getting.
Is that Ben Mendelsohn?
Yeah, he says, I won an Emmy. Yeah, no, he deserves it. He's great.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Plans, so hopefully you can work with him again.
I'd love to.
Hopefully what's he doing now? We wrapped Star Wars.
He is doing another film in the I don't know. I'm not sure. But he'll be interested in whatever he does. But
He's brilliant. Yeah. Have you seen Bloodline? The show that he
yeah. I've not
love
seen
him
the
in that.
next. I think I've only seen season 1.
Okay.
So I've got to get on it again. But yeah, he's
We'll have
a
to,
real dude to work
yeah.
with as well. So.
I can't imagine. Oh wow, 3 or 4 days, man. That's how do you? Wow, I'm thinking from a filmmaker's perspective. That's a rough thing when you go from weeks to days.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
but as I say, it's even testament to his acting that people don't even realize that it's that short apart, in the film.
And what's that one he did with Brad Pitt? I forget the name of it.
I always forget the name of that, and it was one of my favorite films
He's
that year.
so good in that.
He's brilliant in it.
He's just a
And it was a
heroin
really
addict.
That film should have been.
That would it kind of just
More-
went under everyone's radar,
Yeah.
which surprised me because the
Yeah.
message is great in that.
Yeah, it is.
It's really told. It's not through the characters, but it's through the
TV
news.
sets,
The
yeah.
TV sets.
It's really great, and he's a really good director. But I always forget the title of that
Yeah.
film. Maybe that's why I didn't do so well.
That's He's got a shot. He's a hit
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Shooting. No, it's not going to come to me right now. That's brilliant. Oh well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We'll let you get back to creating your next masterpiece here.
Okay.
But where can people find your work or support your work?
If you're in the UK, you can watch Pitchback Heist online, on Film 4, I think, still have it up.
It's also on YouTube. I don't know if that's going towards helping you or not.
I don't care now.
You just want someone to see it.
If people see it, that's fine. If the quality is good, that's fine.
It was a good quality one
Yeah.
I had because I tried to watch it on YouTube UK and then it wouldn't connect, so I changed my VPN to America, and then it was like, boom, worked.
Yeah. And Slow West is definitely. I mean, I'm on Twitter and people seem to be watching it a lot in America. I'm surprised. I thought it was maybe on Netflix in America.
I thought it was too.
Do you know? It might be.
It's not currently. I checked.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the VPN thing. I always try to see what's on where.
Because they take stuff down off Netflix.
It's constantly
as well, don't they?
rotating.
Yeah. But I know Amazon. It's on in American Amazon and DirecTV.
And guys, I highly recommend just buying the movie because
DVD.
John made an amazing film. So just go out there and buy it. Don't just rent it or watch it.
Yeah.
Buy the film. Support these new first-time directors that are
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you came out of the, you came onto the pitch, up to the plate, however you want to say it. I don't know sports analogies. I hate sports, but you killed it, man.
Yeah.
Again, I
Thanks
don't
very
want to
much.
suck up or make your ego too big, but it was again one of the most brilliant films I saw last year.
Thanks very much.
And no pressure. I'm expecting a lot from the next one.
Oh, I better get back to the old, the old final draft. Well, pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
cheers. Thank you.
you.